Hey guys, we're back. We're back. So, did you like that footage from this year's Fan Expo? What you think?
Fantastic.
Absolutely love it. Oh man, love the cosplayers. Love the whole big bamboo stick.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, another fantastic weekend at the Fan Expo. Well over 100,000 people showed up. Like I said, that's some of the footage I shot from the this year's event. Hectic event again. Don't really have a whole lot of time to go through the books. The books we're showing tonight aren't what we picked up there, but we got a lot of great stuff which we're going to be showing in future episodes. But I didn't want to hold off. I wanted to just show you some of the
Footage
we did.
the party, everything. Yeah.
I really like the fact that there was a lot of the original cast from Blade Runner.
Oh wow, that's cool.
What's
yeah.
the girl's name? The girl who's, oh my God, how can I
Daryl
forget?
Hannah?
Not Daryl Hannah.
No, something.
You know,
Sean Young.
Sean Young.
Sean Young.
How can I forget her name? She was here. James Edward
One who's
Olmos.
difficult to act with. Apparently.
Difficult to get along with. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
Great Fan Expo this year. Hope you like that footage. I'll show you some additional footage as we go on in this episode. But without further ado, we're going to look at some of, I guess, some of the newer books that we picked up recently. Jose, you're going to start, right?
Yeah, these books have been picked up over the last couple of months here leading up into Fan Expo. And actually, it's apropos starting off. This is my top 5 good girl books from the last couple of months. And we're starting off with Deceased, issue number 3, showing a zombie version of Wonder Woman. Now, I've never climbed onto the zombie bandwagon quite as big as a lot of people. The last 10, 15 years has been zombie this, that, and the other thing, right? And actually, recently, when this is published, of course, this will be old news. I mean, The Walking Dead has been canceled.
Got the last 3
193 was the very last issue, and of course, the series has already been announced. It's coming to an end.
Yeah.
So it's had its run, but you know what? From a good girl standpoint, yeah, it's not very good looking good girl, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, if I'm going to buy one zombie cover, this is the one I
Might
buy.
as well, yeah.
So that's at number 5. So the next one, number 4, is a cute, very cutesy Batgirl issue
Very
number
cute.
36. You know what? Don't overthink things, folks. You know, you want a nice, simple, clean, crisp cover. I like the look of it. You know, like I said, I love the younger, kind of more innocent version of Batgirl, epitomized by that, you know, cutesy black and white statue we both have, like I said.
For sure.
And like I said, again, stylized, back, kind of like almost gray tone cover, but not quite. It's not a gray tone, but I mean, like in the city, it's a nice, clean, crisp, almost like, you know, like I said, tattoo kind of like
beautiful.
sticker figure.
Yeah.
But it's just beautiful. It's nice, crisp and clean, and simple is best.
Cool.
So
Yeah,
number
it's
4.
beautiful.
Number 3 here, I have a nice portrait, kind of very stylish, kind of very kind of sexy, you know, Lois Lane. This is Lois Lane, issue number 1. I buy number 1 issues sometimes if I like the cover.
Sure, why not?
I mean, I'm not sure who the cover artist is. I mean, it has very much a Jenny Friesen kind of vibe on it. I'm not sure if it's her, but I mean, I like the nice, sexy look of it.
I
the
love
color
the way
palette.
she's looking at you, man.
Yeah, I know she's staring at you as you stare at her.
Yeah.
So that,
Certainly a different kind of artwork than we're used to showing, that's for sure.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
But it works.
it works,
so
you know.
well.
I mean, like Lois Lane, not exactly probably the world's most popular character, but you know, I mean, I have quite a few 10-cent Lois Lane early issues,
Yeah.
and this is like a new modern number 1, so why not? Now the runner-up here at that number 2. This is a nice choke cover, not his usual style. I mean, it's kind
That's
of,
for sure.
you know, it's got a nice
More
sexy
pastel
vibe.
kind of.
Yeah, very kind of much so. You know, it's got that Born to Die. We were just listening to Lana Del Rey, and
Yeah.
it's got that nice, frisky kind of like insane, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do,
Yeah.
Born to Die kind of quality to this cover.
yeah.
That I like about it. It's saucy, and that's what you think of when you think of Harley Quinn, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Year of the Villain. Yeah, this is Harley Quinn issue number 53.
So that's, I guess that's the last one. In this.
No, that's the runner-up. And number 1 here, this is a new character, Arrow. So it's a first appearance, issue number 1. Of course, Art Germ strikes again.
Nice.
Yeah, nice Stanley Loud cover. So nice, I bought it twice. So yeah, cool cover. I mean, not his best. I mean, he's been doing such good work lately that I can't rank it among his best work of the last year. But I mean, still a very solid cover and a first appearance, number 1 issue. So enough said.
Very nice, Jose. And yeah, these obviously all new acquisitions picked up in the last couple months.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they were probably picked up at
All for cover price.
Retro Rare.
They're all retro rare pickups. Yeah.
Fantastic books,
Sweet.
Jose. Thanks for bringing them in.
Hoy hoy.
Okay, continuing on from Jose's new book segment, Mike has also got a new book segment as well. Very nice, Mike. That's a very interesting cover.
Yeah, well, that's about it. And I think Jose, we were having a conversation about how this is maybe not a, but I just like how the cover looks, and it's just a girl playing with men like they're nothing, and kind of picked that up just out of the raw, you know.
It's got some appeal, so
Some
interesting.
appeal. It was interesting, and I just figured I'd pick it up.
American
I don't know.
Carnage.
Never heard
Nothing-
of the title. Yeah.
Again, I've not I've dropped a lot of my runs. I've dropped down to reading only a few.
Yeah.
So I'm not up to date on everything, but when I see a cover that kind of like pops, I pick it up.
Can't hurt. What do you
Yeah,
got
so-
under there?
Now, Aquaman, I did pick up Aquaman and the others, the full run. But this just had so many things going with it. First of all,
Yeah.
I mean, we were just talking last episode about, hey, where the hell, when Wonder Woman is battling all these villains underwater, where is Aquaman? Well, he's kind of deceased, dude. That's what I'm thinking.
Wow.
Anyway, so
He's looking better. He's seen better
I've
days.
seen better days.
That's a creepy, cool
But
cover.
it's a cool cover, and I almost wanted to save that for Halloween.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like so cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, she is so pretty too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, because again, Sea Devils, Aquaman, it all
Yeah,
ties
yeah.
in. It just
Cool,
to me,
cool.
it just popped, and way to go with
Okay.
Yeah, creepy, cool.
Very nice.
and then
very nice.
and then
Oh wow, that's some nice line
just,
work on that cover.
on that. Now we're
Loving
getting
that, yeah.
now we're getting serious.
Yeah,
Because-
I've heard good stuff about
Yeah.
this Jinx World. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful cover.
That's funny. If you look at that cover, it almost blends in with my background there. Right?
It almost
if
does,
You,
but-
if you squint, you'll miss it.
If you didn't have a white border, it might disappear in my background.
Yeah.
I do, like, if you look at some of the older detective comics, some of them had more line works
Yeah,
than the
yeah.
Batmans and whatnot.
Well, that's truly
It's
original.
an amped up version, and that is the line work is just insane, and
That
is
is nice.
beautiful. And I don't know, Jose, you've had some artwork history. Like, is there any kind of genre or
there's
time
very,
period? that you
very Art
maybe-
Nouveau, very like 1900, 1905, very organic
Yes.
line work. There's probably not a straight line in that drawing right there, so it's vibing very much an Art Nouveau feel and style of that.
I mean,
Yeah.
to me,
very cool cover though.
to me, it just like popped. So
Yeah, that's an
I
eye-popping cover. Wow,
had to have
cool.
it. Anyway, and that's it for that.
Well done, Mike. Very nice. Very nice books. Thanks for bringing them in.
Cool.
It'll be 9:30 by the time we get to the hotel room.
Okay, we're just kind of running through these ones tonight. I guess we're not going quite as detailed into every book as we normally do. I'm just going to show you this one. This is one I picked up from the last, I think, a couple Toronto comic book shows ago. A nice Boris Karloff Tales of Mystery.
Love it.
Number 37 from October 1971. Really like that cover, the nice painterly cover. I believe the name of the artist is George Wilson, who did quite a few of those painted covers for Gold Key back in that time.
Yeah, you and your gold key, man. Yeah, you know what? I understand the appeal now that the more that I see of them, you really need to run your eye over quite a few of them. I mean, this one's got a very appealing cover. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I mean, from a Saturday night, a Saturday afternoon kind of thing, the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, that fiery thing, kind of throwing
Yeah.
in the background reminds me of the one I kind of like Giant from one of those Sinbad movies.
Yes.
And like I said, I mean, all those sea monster movies with these giant octopuses like that.
Yeah.
It's a very, very cool cover, and And this is a cover, like I said, when you're looking through a lot of these gold keys, you know, like I said, through something like comic books, databases, and stuff like that. I mean, pick out the standout covers. You know,
Exactly.
like I said, a monster fight cover, it's going to command a bit of a premium on those other books that, you know, that's separated a little bit above the average.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And the nice thing about these books, or maybe the not so nice thing about these books, is they don't really get respect in the comic community the way they probably should.
Unless they're super, super high grade, then you might have so many people. If
You
they're
might
liking,
have
like,
the one guy.
near mint books are going to command a bit of a premium.
Yeah. I mean, this one in a near mint condition is going to run you around $30, or at least that's what it says according to the realm. This one here isn't a near mint. It's got some spine ticks.
Yeah, there's a
maybe
few,
fine,
but
very
not
fine.
much.
You can see only paid $10 for it, but it's still a very nice, presentable copy.
For a 40-plus-year-old
fantastic.
book with a nice painted monster fight cover, sure, why not?
So I'm happy
love
with it. Yeah.
Love it.
Thanks for bringing it in, Paul. You're such a great guy.
Cheers.
Pat, pat.
Okay, so moving forward here, we got Jose, and he's taking us back to the Bronze Age with a very nice, Superboy cover. Wow, Jose, that is really spectacular.
Yeah, this is Superboy issue number 216 from April 1976. It's a minor key issue. It's the first appearance of T-Rock.
Nice.
Yeah, so for those in the know, I know you guys are aware of the Legion of Superheroes. Led by Superboy, the Legion was a club of basically superpowered teenage do-gooders that banded together to form a sort of interstellar ultra police. Kind of like a young Justice League that occasionally time traveled. Now, since several members were from the future, of course they had members from various species, including a blue-skinned girl, Shadow Lass, and a green-skinned boy, Brainiac 5, seen on this cover with Superboy and Karate Kid there. Now, suspiciously absent from this team, black people. In fact, in the entire run of Legion of Superhero comics before 1976, there had not been even a single black character depicted. Not even once.
Not even one?
Yeah, so DC vowed to rectify this inequity by adding an African-American superhero to the Legion. Now, this was a full year before Black Lightning entered the scene, so it was kind of a pretty big deal. Now, his name was T-Rock, and he had this sonic scream ability, kind of sort of like the X-Men's Banshee, but he was also kind of a racial separatist, if you can get it. It turns out, as a way to explain the total lack of black people in the Legion's universe, all the black people exiled themselves to an island off the coast of Africa and lived alone to be away from everyone else. Also, the island disappeared every once in a while for extended periods of time. Now, Jim Shooter, one of DC's writers at the time, called the depiction of T-Rock, quote, pathetic and appalling, unquote. And co-creator artist Mike Grell described T-Rock's segregationist backstory as, quote, possibly the most racist concept I've heard in my life.
I never knew that.
Yeah, apparently Mike Grell was so disgusted with the insulting way that the character was being handled that he intentionally designed T-Rock to look like a cross between Elvis's Las Vegas era costume and something you would imagine a 70s pimp on the street corner wearing.
So he did that intentionally.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't think DC was ashamed of T-Rock, but he was definitely not sure. They were definitely not sure of how to credit and handle him. So Jim Shooter, at the time a young DC writer, had wanted the character of Farrelad to be black, but he was denied by DC editor Mort Weisinger. Now, Farrelad had first appeared in July '66, the same month as Black Panther for Marvel. Had Jim Shooter been allowed to have Farrelad be black, he would have tied for the first black superhero in mainstream comics history. What a what if.
Wow,
man.
Now, in the bottom line assessment of things, T-Rock, I guess, was just a product of his time, invented by white guys. DC, the company at the time, was full of old white dudes trying their best, but they just didn't get it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, artist Mike Grell has said several times that he thinks sonic powers in a visual medium are stupid. Now, as far as the story of an island where all of the black people live that's out of phase with the rest of the planet most of the time, as a concept, it's at best wrong-headed. Well, and at worst, let's face it, it's the ultimate racist fantasy. Yeah, T-Rock rarely had anything to do with the Legion and eventually went home to Marzal and disappeared again. When writer Paul Letzit spent 15 years on a Legion reboot, T-Rock was unique among the pre-89 members never to reappear. Yeah. Now it's a solid mid-grade, very fine copy. It has some woogers, what I call like that's a condition issue near the upper right corner quadrant there. It's got some tiny color breaks, but it's got some things that could probably be pressed out. The corners are a little
Pressed
bit
out
blunted.
Hey, for what you paid for it?
For $10, look, you look at it in raking light, you can see it. Some of this stuff will press out, some of it won't. And maybe it's a 7.75 at the end of the run. The 48th Overstreet price breaks for this book are $9, $13, and $16 US in the 8.99.2 grade splits.
For a minor key?
Why not?
I guess it's really minor. It's not getting a lot of love in the marketplace.
It's not getting a lot.
He's a
but it
flawed
should.
hero, almost an anti-hero, wrong-headed, you know, right a step with the time. But look, I'm a Legion guy. I'm going to be collecting all these issues.
You gotta have it.
I gotta have it, and I'd like it in a near mint, so it's kind of a placeholder. I bought it because I didn't have it, but I do want this book in a high grade.
Yeah,
Now-
so if you're into keys, into Superboy, even though it's a minor key, you gotta have it in your collection
Yeah,
for
first
sure.
appearance,
And
and
I
he
just-
joins the issue a couple issues later in issue 218 if you want that.
Okay, well that is a fantastic book, Jose. Thanks for bringing it in.
Hoi hoi.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is my segment, and as usual, once in a while I like to deviate from comic books. You know the way I am. And I thought I'd show you something tonight that I think is kind of interesting because I've been looking at eBay lately, and the price of this kind of stuff is actually going up quite a bit.
Yeah. So for everybody not in the know, we are definitely exposing our Greek credentials by saying that this is one of the classic Advanced Dungeons and Dragons modules we're looking at here. This is the first module that I ever remember playing.
Did we play this together,
and this is
all of us?
Not you, but we used to play quite
And this
often.
is great because
okay.
it's for beginning character levels 1 and 3. This is the Keep on the Borderlands.
Yeah.
What a fantastic module this
Yeah.
is. This brings back memories from TSR. Man, in high school, man, we would have all weekend Dungeons and Dragons adventures, man.
Yeah. And the nice thing about, now this is a mid-grade copy, but I look at eBay once in a while, and the prices of these original Dungeons and Dragons modules are moving up substantially. Now a mid-grade copy like the one you're seeing here can run between 40 and 50 bucks.
Holy wow.
But the
That's some
higher
good
grade,
money.
the higher grade copies can be 80 to 100. I've seen one dreamer on eBay asking 150 for it.
I remember these things that came in shrink wrapped. Imagine the guy that bought two. Probably there is a guy who probably bought one that's still shrink wrapped in the thing, like minty.
Exactly.
That guy's probably sitting on $100 plus book then.
Well, that's one of the reasons I'm showing this, because Jose, if I remember correctly, did you not own the original Dungeons and Dragons module, The Vault of the Drow?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Now-
I still have some of those left. I mean, I recently moved and I'm living out of boxes right now, so I mean, there is some of that stuff there. My sister grabbed all my Dungeons and Dragons stuff and threw it in one box.
Well, there's one guy,
man.
and it's not to say he's going to get this much for it, but there's a guy on eBay right now that is selling a sealed copy of Vault of the Drow. He's asking 500 US for it.
He's a dreamer.
Wow.
But again, yeah, he's a bit of a dreamer, but it would not be unreasonable for a sealed copy to bring in 200 to 300. So,
Oh yeah, easy.
so the point being,
Eventually, it's going to get there.
exactly. So the point being, if you're one of the older guys like us, and you still have your old Dungeons and Dragons stuff from the 80s and 90s,
And you've kept them in good condition. That's the main thing. If they're not dog-eared and half
Yeah.
ripped and stained.
do not get rid of it, because these things are increasing in value. In fact, there was a guy at the Fan Expo that had a booth set up and was selling mostly role-player RPG games, and a lot of the material he had was old Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and it's getting
Wow.
very expensive.
Yeah, this is the creme de la creme of role-playing games. When you think role-playing, you think Dungeons and Dragons. EverQuest was an online version of Dungeons and Dragons.
Exactly, that's all
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
D&D was way ahead of its time, and I'm going to show you this one last thing. Anybody who's been watching Stranger Things will be aware of what this is.
This is the Monster Manual, the original Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual,
Yeah.
that classic
Yes.
cover. I mean, this was the thing. I mean, then they had Monster Manual number 2. Then you had
Three.
other things. Yeah, there might have been a third volume.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and there was other ones, but this is the
This
original
is the
one.
original first edition of the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual. This will sell on eBay between $100 and $300, depending on the condition.
Yeah, and those numbers you're looking at least like a near mintish condition.
So they're
like-
referencing this
Yeah.
to see what's going on in the upside
This
down.
is a
correct?
very
Yes.
rare item, and again, like I said, if you've been watching Stranger Things, the kids,
Yes.
they are actually using this Monster Manual
To figure out what's going on,
Yeah, so
Yeah. The Mind Flayer.
And the nice thing about my copy here is it's in almost near mint condition. There's a bit of almost at the top right-hand corner, something's going on there.
It's got a wooger.
But it's a beautiful copy, and I bought it off Phil at the Grey Legion back in the 90s from when his comic book store was still in Square One.
Wow, yeah.
The one to look out for these manuals, I might say just as the last thing, is the Deities and Demigods. The original version, because there are a couple of mythos there, and I'm thinking specifically of the H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu mythos and the Michael Moorcock Elric mythos that they didn't get or didn't secure properly the rights to. So if you have the ones that originally have those are like, I mean, it's the equivalent of having comic books like a price variant. Those things eventually were pulled. There was a limited run. They published as many as they did, and then when those sold, they reissue it without those two things. That's the one you want with both the Cthulhu mythos and the Elric mythos. That Deities and Demigods is thumbs up for me. I wish I still had mine.
Again, so to reiterate what Jose is saying, you want the original edition of the Deities and Demigods manual by Dungeons and Dragons. Very rare, very hard to find,
especially in good condition.
So again, like I said, if you're into old D&D stuff, do not throw it out.
And watch Stranger Seasons #3. I just did, and it was quite good.
Oh yeah.
It's on Second Age, I think.
They got another investor behind them. That might be.
Okay, so Jose taking us back in time, and we're also stepping up the dollar figure on this book. This is a very beautiful copy of Submariner #8. Nice book, Jose. Nice.
Yeah, these are the last two segments for me. Will be big boy books here. This is Submariner issue #8 from December of '68.
Nice.
Yeah, this issue, of course, features just a classic battle cover by the late great John Buscema. Yeah, the battle is set to a jet black background, making really high grade copies next to impossible to snag for this book. Now, when I was thinking about it and comparing Submariner issue #8 to Buscema's other stellar battle covers with black backgrounds like Silver Surfer issue #4 and Fantastic Four issue 112, I see just how great a value this issue is at the moment in the marketplace. Now, let's put aside Silver Surfer 4 because it's so iconic a cover, and just compare it to Fantastic Four issue 112, which I think is the best comp. Now, Submariner 8 came out a full 2.5 years before Fantastic Four issue 112. Submariner 8 is actually scarcer in higher grades. Compare the 125 copies CGC graded at 9.2 or better to the 185 copies at CGC 9.2 or better in the census for Fantastic Four 112, and then compare the market prices. Fantastic Four 112s fetch just crazy, insane in the membrane prices, like $15.60 US on average for a CGC 9.4 on the market, and $5.70 US for a CGC 9.2 near mint minus. Now, meanwhile, Submariner 8s are getting, on average, $381 US for a CGC 9.4 and $177 for a CGC 9.2. Now, these market prices seem so far off to me that they must be. Okay, I'm thinking Submariner #8 in a high grade is a solid buy right now. Let's not forget that as a comic book character, Subby's star has already started to rise and has plenty of height still to climb. Personally, I think he's a great character to do some specking on. Okay?
Sure.
Aim for a crisp, tight copy, square to the corners, and holding lots of gloss. So my thought is, a 9.4 or a 9.2 copy at a slightly sub-market price, say $350 and $175 US respectively for a 9.4 or 9.2. I picked up a nice DF plus copy, very nice, very tight. A couple of small kind of like splits on the spine, tiny little bit of color break on them, but nothing significant.
Yeah.
Okay. The 48th Overstreet price breaks for this book are $64, $132, and $200 US in the 8, 9, and 9.2 grade splits. At this, an 8.5 current market, $100, maybe 120, 25 US. Paid 120 US, 150 Canadian. I'm basically right there on the market, and I think it's got a lot of upside. So a book like this is somewhat, if you get in a resale price and in the ranges I said, if you want a slightly higher copy, a 9.2 or 9.4, they're definitely a buy at those prices.
Oh, for sure, for sure. You know, I love all those black prices, those black covers, these dark covers here. I mean, again, you're right. It shows every single tick mark, every single flaw. But when you get a really nice one,
They just glow.
It just pops.
And look at the way it just pulls the two subjects out of that cover. It's just beautiful. It draws your attention
In a high
right in.
grade, there's nothing better.
Nothing better.
Oh,
nothing
absolutely,
better.
absolutely.
Fantastic book, Jose. Thanks for bringing it in.
Happy 4th on that one.
Yeah.
And we got Eagle Eye Goog, and this is Mike's last segment of the evening. And are these two newer books?
Yeah, recent pickups. Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of running through my LCS and
Altered States.
Absolutely came across this. Hack and Slash Chaos are both big Dynamite characters. But they also have a whole bunch of series of verses. So Hack and Slash will be Hack and Slash versus all kinds of people in their universe, and Chaos will have a whole bunch of verses in their universe.
Oh yeah.
And it's all kinds of fun. all
Sandwich
kinds of
cover
great-
here. We got Hack Slash versus Chaos.
But what made me and I've never read a damn book of these, but what pulled me in was just, oh my God, look at her face. It's just like, something's gonna happen. And it just, and you had said, like, I mean, like the colors and everything, it's a beautiful cover. It popped, and I said, okay, well, that interests me, and that's what you want. You want a book that pulls you in and maybe wants to learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
Dynamite bondage cover, good girl and bad girl.
Because
I know.
Dynamite's
Tasty.
I'd almost call it a bad girl cover
Yeah.
than a good girl cover, right?
It's like,
Yeah,
like
some-
kind of a 15th anniversary thing for Dynamite as well, right?
they've been around for a while now. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, absolutely. So it was just great fun, and I'm great now.
Vampirella.
Alex
Very
Ross,
nice.
who does not like Alex Ross.
Well, Paul doesn't seem to like Alex Ross since he doesn't pick up a heck of a lot of Alex Ross covers
Alex
recently.
Ross, one of my favorite covers, but I don't pick up everything because the volume of work he does is absolutely astronomical.
Exactly.
I don't have room for it all.
All of varying quality, but this one, I mean, interesting angle. You know, you got a you got the opposite. You got an ant kind of thing looking up at her. It is a Dynamite #1 issue. I kind of like it with the zombie corpse hands kind of reaching out probably from the grave. You know, gets a background of this kind of Transylvanian castle.
Yeah.
It is a kind of cool cover. I like it. I don't know if I'd buy it. I mean, as a good girl guy, I might. You know, you probably paid cover for this only. So
I did, of course, and you have to look at all of the other variants. I mean, there's some. All kinds of different arts. I think there was about 10, 15 different variant covers for this. It was crazy.
yeah, there's always crazy number.
I kind of settled on this one.
Nothing wrong
It
with
might have
Alex
been a
Ross
mistake.
cover.
It's my own personal choice.
Yeah.
I like Alex Ross. There's a few others that I would, but I wasn't going to spend money on multiple copies. So I
Hard
just had
to do
pick
when you're
one.
in a budget. Yeah.
Just pick the one, and that's fine. I love the artist.
You could do worse than pick up an Alex Ross cover. That's for sure.
Yeah, so I figured that would be the one. And then after that,
Oh wow, cool.
very interesting.
Blade Runner
Nice.
2019. You like
Brand
that
new
cover?
series coming out.
Yeah.
Had to figure, let's take it a read. Titan Comics is coming out with Blade Runner 2019. Now the chaser is a girl.
Blade Runner is a girl, eh?
Yeah,
Oh, you see her
so-
on the cover right there. Yeah, with the gun.
Her. And this, I believe, is a Frank Cho.
Is it a Frank Cho cover? Wow.
I believe
if he-
so. So interesting enough, so I grabbed it. So
Very cool, appealing cover. I really like the
I'm gonna
city in the
open that up
background
and
with the
read it, you know.
billboards.
Yeah.
I mean, very nice. I should get this cover if I see it at my
So you
local
guess
shop.
we're all over the place tonight as far as subject matter, as far as characters go. Anyways,
Yeah, well, I'll bring up
Characters.
I'll bring up the rear with the last vintage book of the night. But yeah, it's been a very new book episodic.
new
kind-
big centric.
Absolutely, yes.
It's definitely been in that style. But let's wait for that last book.
Fantastic books, Mike. Thanks for bringing them in.
right on.
Okay, so as usual, or as we've been doing recently, Jose's bringing it home for the evening, and as per usual, he is not going to disappoint. He's brought in a really nice copy of World's Finest number 156. Wow, Jose, fantastic.
Yeah, from March of '66. Has the first appearance of Bizarro Batman.
Wow.
Yeah, World's Finest, for those not to know, was published monthly and bi-monthly by DC Comics from 1941 to 1986, running 323 issues. Of course, the series was an anthology featuring various DC characters, but always including Superman and Batman in separate stories. Now, I guess that pairing them made sense financially, since the two were DC's most popular superheroes, of course. Yeah. Now, what I want to discuss in this segment is the issue that I have, and the problem with the current bull market in superhero comics is that I feel the stampede to label every possible book a key in order to justify a jacked up price when selling. Now, this book offers an interesting case study, okay? Both the Overstreet Price Guide, our industry's Bible, and CGC, the leading encapsulator of comic books, indicate that this issue, of course, is the first appearance of or intro of Bizarro Batman. Now, that's not a big stretch because it's right there on the cover.
Slow it down.
It's right there on the cover, boys. First Bizarro Batman,
Yep.
okay? Now, is first Bizarro Batman, quote unquote, a thing in the context of a key issue? Okay? Now, don't get me wrong, Bizarro himself is a major Superman villain along the lines of Lex Luthor, General Zod, and Brainiac.
Yeah.
And his first appearance in Superboy issue 68, cover dated for October of 58, is a major early Silver Age key, which will run you about the cost of a nice used car in a VF 8.0 condition if you can find one.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Now,
Yeah.
my point is that Bizarro Batman is a function of Bizarro World, which is an upside-down, mirror image, alternate reality, much like my all-time favorite Star Trek classic episode, Mirror Mirror, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now, that being the case, DC writers and artists have over the years and were able to introduce, as required, Bizarro versions of various heroes, villains, and other characters. For example, Catwoman, the Joker, Flash, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, etc., and so on. Bizarro, the Bizarro version of Batman, the world's worst detective, just happens to be the most popular and collectible in the marketplace. Now, Bizarro Batman was created by Bizarro himself as a duplicate of the Earth hero Batman in order to team up, much like Batman and Superman. Now they travel to Earth, where they try to shape the world after their own Bizarro world, creating chaos, and in this issue teaming up with the Crown Prince of Crime, the Joker, in order to cause maximum mayhem. So, I guess in the final analysis, key issue, yes, in my opinion. But like most everything in life, it's all relative, isn't it, folks? So that collector selling the first issue that contains the first appearance of example of the Bizarro version of Crypto the Superdog can somewhat justifiably claim it as a key first issue appearance. Whether the marketplace notices or cares, of course, is another matter entirely.
Yeah.
Now, this is a nice, tight investment grade, for my budget anyway, copy, about a VF 8.0 in gray. Now, I paid $200 Canadian, which with current exchange rates is about $135, $140 US. Bit of a premium over the buyer's guide. It's got a good Joker cover though. And look, there's a Jared Leto Joker movie in production coming out in the next calendar year. Again, he's gonna get exposure again. Do I mind paying 20, 30, 40 bucks over a guide at grade? No, not really at this point. The 48th Overstreet price breaks for this book are $82, $179, and $275 US in the 8, 9, and 9.2 grade splits.
Fantastic, Jose. Fantastic. And it's nice having a nice little key like this to end the episode. And wow, you paid a few bucks for it, but you got to pay to play. If you want the quality, you got to do what you got to do.
You know what? Like I said, fair market value for this book for an 8.0 copy is about $100 US. So I paid $135, $140. that extra premium I paid for in a calendar year, I don't think it'll make that much of a difference to the new Joker movie with
Yeah.
Jared Leto, Academy Award winner, playing the Joker. I'm looking forward to that. Put more exposure. Look, golden age covers from the 40s and 50s with Joker on it, whether in Detective or Batman, are through the roof. If you want a VG
Yeah.
copy or higher, you're spending 4 figures.
Oh, for sure.
What does that mean? You're going to go to the Silver Age. You're going to go there, look at
Absolutely.
good Joker covers, and you're going to buy the best
Yeah.
condition that you can. In this case, for me, investment grade for a Silver Age book, about a VF copy. About a VF copy for a little bit over guide. Again, it'll all wash itself out within the next year or two.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
absolutely,
It's
it will.
funny you called Joker the Crown Prince of Crime, because I still consider old Mike here the Crown Prince of Crime, because back 3-4 years ago when you picked up the first appearance of Mira at the Niagara Falls
Yeah,
Comic
he
Con, you
stole
paid
that
20
book.
bucks.
Yeah, Walter from Big B, he let
Yeah,
that one
yeah.
go for a song. Yeah.
20 bucks. So yeah,
$20.
I think Mike is still the Crown Prince of Crime as far as I'm concerned.
And ended up with a
Amazing Spider-Man.
number 4.
You work that into that, man, and that's your crown jewel of your collection. So that was one great snag. But
Anyways.
this was no.
Oh, fuck,
This was
beautiful.
a great pickup for that price. You know what? Being a little bit above grade for a nice Joker cover, mid 60s, 66. Can't go wrong.
I see getting more and more popular right now.
Fantastic,
Online.
fantastic book, Jose. Thanks for bringing it in.
Hoy hoy, and happy collecting to all the dudes out there.
And I hope you guys like the footage from the Fan Expo, and another fantastic, great Fan Expo for this year. I guess the next major Comic-Con coming up is probably the Hamilton Comic-Con in October. And Jose, just incidentally, I just found out just recently, guess who's going to be at this year's October Hamilton Comic-Con?
Who?
Sam Jones.
Oh no, Mr. Flash Gordon.
Mr. Flash Gordon himself.
Oh, damn it.
And I do have a copy of a nice Flash Gordon lobby card.
Nice.
Is it a lobby
Get
card?
him
No, it's a
some-
film insert. It's an insert.
Oh, so you gonna get a sign?
I'm thinking about it. Thinking about going to HammerCon and getting Sam Jones to sign it. Yeah.
Hammer call.
So the Comic Cons never stop here, and
Oh,
yeah.
why couldn't you come up to Fan Expo? Damn Fan Expo and their inadequate guest list.
Well, this year Blade Runner was pretty. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, we got to call it quits. This is getting to be a long episode. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and hopefully you're watching. And if you like what you saw, leave comments, because we love reading them, and we will respond. And yeah, we will see you next time.
Hoy hoy.
Yes, yes.